Alright, now that I've got the pieces all cut, I spent the last 20 minutes or so cutting the pieces up. They're all ready to be split. Now in the olden days, what we used to do is use something called a maul. It's not an axe, it's a maul. It's not sharp, it's a wedge. We're talking about that more when we talk about simple machines. I have my piece of wood here. Now one of the problems with wood is when Mother Nature made it, she put all the moisture into the inside of it. And for me to try to burn it as a round log, it doesn't burn very well because there's no place for the fire to really grab onto. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to open up this piece of wood. So when I split it, I'm opening up the wood to expose the internal grain. That also helps it to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this maul and split the wood. That's not too bad. That piece split pretty good. But as soon as you start messing around with some of these bigger pieces or pieces that have branches in them, they don't split very well. So what we've got is we've got a splitter over here. Now this splitter is going to allow me to use hydraulics. And we've talked about hydraulics in simple machines. Now, it wasn't until the invention of gasoline internal combustion engines they were able to do this, because hydraulics don't work without some type of a force to turn the motor. So I have more gasoline here. I have oil that has to be used inside my splitter. I have another oil that is going to be used in the hydraulic system. So there's a lot of things going on inside this. Let me get you a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that log and I'm going to start splitting it. By the way, I've been out here now for about 2 hours, and I'll have enough wood for about 2 days. I'm working alone. If I work with somebody else, we could probably have about a week's worth of wood split. If I had 3 people working, we could have 3 days worth of wood split in a couple of hours. Plus, it's a lot safer. I'm using a gasoline engine. So I'm going to go back to using my hearing protection and also my face protection. I like to try to make sure I put the wood right into the bucket. If I put it on the ground, I have to now pick it up again and move it. Every time I touch this piece of wood, it's more manpower, it's more labor. For what I'm worth per hour, I don't want to be picking this up too many times. I don't want to have to pay somebody to pick it up too many times. Now, I told you that we have to dry this material. What I need to do now is I need to take my bucket load of wood and I need to take it over to a location where I can dry it. I'm going to show you the bucket. This is a bucket load of wood that I've got. Let me zoom out here a little bit. That's probably, I would say, 2 to 3 days worth of wood on a cold day. Now I got to show you something else over here. And talking about splitting wood, there was a tree on the side of the road that I cut up. It took a lot of labor to get it cut up. It took a truck to haul it. Look at the size of these logs. They're huge. I cannot cut this wood, or I cannot split this by hand. It's just way too big. To give you an idea of how big this is, this piece of wood is over 2 feet in diameter. I can't pick it up, I can't move it. It is non-movable, but I've got a machine over there that can do it. We're going to pick this up with the machine and we'll put it on the splitter. It takes 3 people to do that operation. 1 person running the machine, 2 people running the splitter. It's a lot of labor. A lot of manpower, a lot of diesel fuel. I'm totally dependent on fossil fuels. You kids, you can't be this dependent. Somehow. Let's go look at the wood pile. Well, actually, we can look at this wood pile. This is wood that I'm burning this year. It's all been covered up. The wood has to be dried for a year. This wood is all buried underneath tarps. It's all been covered. I did this last winter. I covered it up and I left it there. And there's probably about 5 cords of wood here, and I will burn all of that this winter. Not only that, underneath this tarp, I have more wood. Okay, you have to keep the wood covered. That wood is nice and dry. This wood that is out here is wet. It was just cut down this year. It has to be dried out. So, anything I cut right now, what I just brought in is wet wood. It has to be stacked.